Hello again and welcome to another Isadora video tutorial. My name's Sam Meach and this session is looking at the video in watcher. We're looking at how to use live feed video within Isadora from your camera device. This is just a very basic session, a basic introduction. We're just going to look at how to turn it on and how to get it plugged into something, plus a couple of details around resolution and performance. And that's about it. Yeah, it's just about getting you up and running and getting a video feed into Isadora. First thing we're going to do though is we're going to show the stages. Let me just move myself out of the way. So we're going to go to the output menu and show stages. So we can see my stage here is blank. It's also a small window. That's because I've got it shown as a 4-stage preview. Usually this would go to your projector or your second monitor, but so you can see what I'm working on, I've got it just as a preview window on my main screen. First of all, we need to tell Isadora to turn the camera on and bring that in. So we're going to go to the input menu and to this option, live capture settings. So that opens a new window. So the live capture settings is where you'll find audio and video devices coming into Isadora. It might look a bit intimidating at first, but don't worry, you'll get very familiar with it. It's only got essentially just 3 things that we need to look at. The first one is the basic. First part is the basics, is we need to enable a channel of video. So we tick that box and we've got channel 1 enabled. So you can flick down, you've got up to 4 channels of video. We're going to work with channel 1. That means you can have 4 devices. If you've got the hardware capability, you could bring in 4 different devices. And in a minute, we're just going to be planning to use our webcam. I'm using the Apple driver. I could be using, if I've got a Blackmagic device, I could bring that in and use a Blackmagic driver. But for anything basic like a webcam, a USB camera, it's just going to run off QuickTime. So for Macs, that's going to be your Apple driver. The next section is your video input. This is where we actually need to choose the device. We need to tell Isadora where to get the video from. So at the minute, the device is set to none. I'm going to click this and choose FaceTime HD camera. You can see there I've actually got several software cameras and traces of an old USB camera there. So I need to tell Isadora that I want to use my built-in web camera. So let's do that now. The resolution is set to native. We'll come back to that in a second. The format, we'll see what format that native resolution is. While we're here, let's look at the sound input. So the device here is set to none, but we can choose the built-in microphone. Once we've selected those devices, we need to then still tell Isadora to start capturing and bringing in some live feed audio and video. So I'm going to click this button, Start Live Capture. Straight away then we can see there's an image of me there. That's a good sign. Plus this little green bar going up, that's the audio signal. So when I talk, bibbidi bobbidi boo, those audio signals jump up. So that tells me there's audio coming in through the microphone and I can see myself as well. So that's good. We've got the camera set up. One last thing then is to look at resolution. So we can see now the video input has a native resolution. The format is appearing as 1280 by 720. So that's the resolution that Isadora's pulling in the FaceTime camera as. I can change that. There's no point going up to, I could choose a HD, but there's no point. That's not going to give me any more detail if the camera is 1280 by 720. It's just going to put greater load on the processor. But I could choose a smaller resolution. So in fact, I'm going to choose this HD quarter resolution. 640 by 360, so that it's working a bit faster. It's up to you, it depends what you're going to do, but it's always going to be a trade-off between performance and detail. And lastly, I'm going to just show a preview. If I click this window, I can see how big that actually is and what it looks like as it's coming in as the raw image. So that's the 640 by 360 image coming into Isadora. I'm happy with that. I can't do anything about how I look, but the camera is good enough for me. And I'm going to make sure I close that image now, because we don't want that running in the background. So make sure you close that window. So that's good. We can now close the live capture settings window. So we've told Isadora to access the web camera. We've got it turned on. We now just need to bring it into our scene. So the actor we're going to use for this is called the Video in Watcher. And we'll find that under Video Sources. So if I click this Video Sources toolbox, there at the bottom we've got the Video in Watcher. I'm going to click that, I get my little plus symbol, and now bring that onto the stage, sorry, not the stage, the scene editor. Click there and place that. So we can see on the left the inputs, it's got a channel input that's automatically set to 1, which is good because we've got our video coming in on channel 1. The video out is on the right, but we need to send it to a projector. So let's get a projector. So I double click and I get my search bar. I'm going to search PROJ projector, press return, and I can bring that here. So now I just need to take a wire out of the video out by clicking on that green node and just drag it over to the video input of the projector, and then boom, I'm going to the stage. So it might not seem that radical at present, but there it is. We've got a video going to the stage. So we can now work with this feed as we would any other video feed within Isadora. One thing we might need to do though first is, at the minute when I'm looking at it, when I move left, my image seems to move right, and vice versa. So if we're working with something and we want it to feel more like a mirror, let's say we're making an interactive installation where the camera and the screen are coming from the same place, and the user needs to feel like there's some relationship between what they do and the image they see on screen, we need to flip that image horizontally. So I'm going to look for something to do that. So let's get the search bar up again, and I'm going to type flip, and lo and behold, there is an actor called flip. So I'm going to grab that and bring that out. So we need to route the camera feed through this actor for it to take effect. So I'm going to get rid of my original wire, and instead I'm going to draw a new path, put a new wire going out from the video watcher into the input of the flip actor, and then out the other side from the video output back up to the projector. There we have it. It's running through. However, it's not flipping. Why is that? Well, we need to tell the flip actor to actually flip it. So we can see on the input variables here, we've got a flip horizontal and a flip vertical. Now they're both set to off. If I click one of these dots, these nodes, I get a little slider. I can click and drag that to on. So now I am matched up with my mirror image. So when I move left, my mirror moves left. Likewise, I could click and drag this up and turn on my vertical flip on. So now I'm upside down. So all the blood is rushing to my head. So this depends on just, again, on how you're using your camera in relation to a screen or in relation to an audience. You'll want to take control of just some basic orientation of that image. So just for now, I'm going to undo the vertical flip. Oh, there we go. So I've got something that's working for me for the basics of maybe some magic mirror type thing. Let's copy and paste this scene, and I'm going to call it scene 2. Let's just add something else in, like a threshold actor. So now I can take another wire from there, run it through the threshold, back up to the projector. So now I've got my spooky mirror. You know, maybe not that radical as an artwork just yet, but we've got the basics. That's the main thing. We can see the load on the processor here is pretty good. You know, it's keeping up with pretty much 30 frames a second. You want to just keep an eye on that. As I say, the higher the resolution of your video feed, your camera, the more work Isadora is going to have to do to render things in real time. But you know, if it looks good to the eye, then to me that's okay. That's it for this session. We'll be exploring the camera more in future video sessions.